Hey guys, today we have a very interesting video and this is on the IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf speakers. I've unboxed them a while back and I've tested them, and this $99 speaker and $200 for a pair actually does a very good job of adding surround sound to your Sonos sound setup. Whether you're running the Play Bar or the Play Bass or the Beam or the newest Arc, you will be able to benefit from surround sound. For all intents and purposes, there are no difference between this guy and the Sonos One or the Play One or the One SL. And if you don't already have surround sound speakers for your setup, I urge you, spend the $200 and get this pair. But if you're going to be using them for music or just on their own, how well do they stack up, and is there a way to improve the sound? Are there ways to improve the sound? And for today, that's exactly what we're trying to find out. So the IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf speakers, they actually double up as a bookshelf. You can actually wall mount them. You can mount them vertically or you can mount them on the side. And there are brackets that they sell, not very expensive, where you can drill into the wall and then you slide this on and you can put stuff on this. So this will act as a bookshelf. There's a silicone pad that comes with it. So if you take a look at the speaker here, inside the grills are actually removable, which is the same can't be said for all the other Sonos speakers. You can actually see the speaker cones. These are pretty small cones here, and this is a ported speaker. So even at $99, IKEA, or maybe Sonos in this case, they're not shortchanging you for what you get for this $100 here. You will still get your LAN port in. You will also get AirPlay 2. Now, $99 for AirPlay 2 speaker that integrates perfectly and seamlessly into your Sonos ecosystem is a great deal. And at a pair, you get a true stereo image. So the sound coming from a pair of these guys isn't that bad. But what we really want to find out today is, how do you make that sound better? And in my usual fashion, I don't want to drag the whole video and wait till the end before I tell you the answer. So upfront summary, how do you improve the sound from a pair of IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf? So the first way is the free way, which is using TruePlay. TruePlay helps you tune the sound, and because, like I've shown you earlier, this is a ported design, the TruePlay, for some reasons, actually works better and more effectively in taming some parts of the bass. I'll explain it to you in a while. The second way, which is a much more expensive way to do this, is by adding a sub. Now, for those of you who have been following me on my channel, you'll know how much of a fan I am of the Sonos Sub. In front of me here, this is the white gloss version. This is the Sub Gen 2. There is a newer Sub Gen 3. And if you're interested to find out more about the differences between the older Sub Gen 2 and the Sub Gen 3, do check out the videos that I'm going to link up here, where I compare all the 12 differences between the Sub Gen 2 and the Sub Gen 3. So granted, this is $99, a pair of them, less than $200, and you're adding $700 to improve the sound. That doesn't quite stack up. It is not really a fair upgrade. If you had $900 in the first place to spend, you might do better getting maybe straight away a pair of Sonos 5s. But today, for the purpose of discussion, for the purpose of science, for journalism, we are talking about how to improve the cheapest Sonos speaker by adding a sub. So there you have it, the two ways, TruePlay and adding a sub. Now, if you have some time to stay around, do stay around. I will be running through some frequency response curves. I did some frequency response sweeps and I did the measurements of the IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf on their own without TruePlay, and then I turned on TruePlay, and subsequently I added on the sub with and without TruePlay, and you will be able to see how all these things are changing the sound in order to make it better. So do stay on. So everything that you love about the Sonos ecosystem is actually in this speaker here. This is not small, it's quite a bit taller than Sonos One or the Sonos Play ones. But the grills are removable. You'll see that the cone is slightly smaller. The control buttons are in front. It's not capacitive, it's physical buttons. You can increase the volume, decrease the volume, or play and pause here. There's a port here which helps out with the bass frequencies. Now, it is quite a deep speaker, as you can see, and at the rear of it, you will get your Ethernet jack as well as a power input. Now, on the software front, this operates on the Sonos S2 platform, and you're not going to be shortchanged of any feature within the S2 platform. You will see this as capable as the Sonos One. You will be able to act as the surround sound channel as well. You will be able to pair them up to give a true stereo image. So all these are, for $99, you're getting all the functionalities of what you will get from the Sonos One. It is a great deal. And you can also add a sub to the speakers here. Now, the most important of all, which is a feature I keep telling people who are interested in Sonos, that they have TruePlay. TruePlay is a form of room correction. It measures the sound using an iPhone device. Using an iOS device, it measures the sound that is bouncing around your room when the speakers are playing, and it tries to correct for the deficiency, the room modes, the standing waves, the over-bloated bass, that kind of stuff. And it tunes the sound to a level where the Sonos sound engineer thinks that this is the correct sound that you're supposed to be hearing. It corrects the sound for you. That is an important feature. Now, if you look at the setup that I have here, this cabinet that I have, this is a cavity all the way in. It's about 50 centimeters high, 50 centimeters deep, and about 4 feet across. Now, this area here creates like a bass trap, right? And any speakers that you place within this cavity here is going to sound boomy. Now, you will be quite surprised at what TruePlay is capable of in terms of taming that boost. These IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf speakers, in the first place, the mid bass is a little bit overpronounced, more pronounced than I would like it. So what happens is that you will hear that the voices, they have an unnatural kind of weight to it. And when you hear an explosion go off, it is not the even pressurizing kind of bass that you're hearing from a great subwoofer or a great speaker, but it is well, not quite in your chest still, but the mid bass is very strong. It actually makes the bass sound a little bit anemic. Now, sound frequencies work this way, they are all relative. So even if you have a bass line here and the mid bass is pronounced, you will actually feel that the lower frequency of the bass is not sounding as great. So these guys have a very present mid bass, and this cavity, this placement is not doing it any good. All the tests that I'm running today, I actually placed the mic here, and this is actually the location that you'll be hearing when I'm running the test and all the frequency sweeps that you'll be seeing. So without further ado, I will load the first chart here. If you look at this black line here, this is the measurement, the frequency sweep that I did with just the IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf paired up in stereo. No TruePlay was done, the sub was not added yet. So you can see that while it maintains relatively flat, there is an artificial bump at about 90-100 Hertz thereabout. And that mid-bass bump is the bump that I'm talking about. Relative to the rest of the frequency range, you'll see that it actually peaks out there quite peskily. And the bass starts falling off from about 70-80 Hertz onwards all the way down. So on its own, without TruePlay, in this placement position, these IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf speakers will sound it's kind of flat, it's kind of in your face, the vocals are a little bit stronger, the mid bass is a bit too thick. But that's just the way I hear it. You might hear it differently, and your room is slightly different, your placement is likely to be different. So let's see what TruePlay does to this setup. Here. Look at the green line here. Now the green line, you will see that the mid bass peak has been lowered and pulled down quite dramatically. And with that, the lower bass extension is actually even lower. The bass doesn't actually give up the ghost until about 40-odd Hertz. This is a great improvement in the bass response before TruePlay. So this is what TruePlay did for it. It pulled down the pesky mid bass, it evens out the bass response, it now goes deeper to 40-45 Hertz before it starts tapering off. And if you look at the higher frequency range, you actually see that it has been lifted from about 700 Hertz onwards, a little bit beyond the human voice range. You see that the higher frequencies are all bumped up a little bit. So this is the free upgrade in sound that you're getting. TruePlay does a wonderful, wonderful job for the IKEA Symfonisk BookShelf speakers. So of course I have a Sonos Sub Gen 2 lying around. Being inquisitive, being curious, being greedy if you want to put it that way, I actually tried to pair this up. Now this is one of the most expensive devices you can buy from Sonos, and this is one of the cheapest Sonos devices you can get, although it's from IKEA. So pairing this $700 with a $99 speaker, may not be the thing that you would do, but let's see what it does to the sound. And to satisfy our own curiosity, here is the frequency response chart. Look at that blue line. Just look at that blue line. So from below 100 Hertz, you'll see that it goes all the way down to below 30 Hertz. And it's flat till 30 Hertz. It does not give up the ghost until it hits about 25 Hertz or so. Now, that is an amazing bass extension. And when you listen to it, the bass that is coming out from these guys is just incredible. It's so much volume, so pressurizing. The bass that you can feel in your gut and in your chest and your ears, it feels as though the sound waves are touching the inside of your eardrums and popping it there. It's an amazing sound. I have great things to say about the Sonos Sub. If you are curious about the Sonos Sub, do check out my Sonos Sub playlist and binge watch everything that I have to say about the Sonos Sub, even the Gen 2 and the Gen 3. And finally, the last thing I did with this setup, the two bookshelf speakers paired with a Sonos Sub, I actually did TruePlay again. Now, bear in mind that I did TruePlay on an iPhone 11. Not the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 has not been supported for Sonos TruePlay on the S2 platform. The iPhone 11, while I was doing the TruePlay, I do realize that, hey, maybe I should be trying it on the iPhone 7 or earlier. Now, for those of you who have been following my channel, you will know that different models of the iPhone actually use different results when it comes to TruePlay. If you're interested, do check out the videos that I'm linking up here, or just search for TruePlay videos on my channel. So when TruePlay is applied on this particular setup, you'll see, now, okay, this is the red line. Yep. The red line would have pulled down the peaks, the mid-bass peak from the blue line. And remember, the blue line is this setup without TruePlay, red line, this setup with TruePlay. So it doesn't extend the bass anymore. It doesn't actually increase the bass volume in any sense. In fact, what it does is to reduce the mid-bass response so that it doesn't sound so boomy. And if you look at the 700 Hertz and up, you'll notice that the whole frequency range from there, the higher frequency, is again lifted up another notch. So this setup, after TruePlay is done, is actually a wonderful setup. I actually ran through my whole playlist again. Oh, if you have not checked out my Pete's playlist, I'm linking it up here. Those are the songs that I used to test my speakers, my headphones, and it's a short 30 minutes, maybe 6, 7, 8 tracks inside. Check it out. I would have also gone through what you're supposed to be listening out for in those tracks in order to know whether your speakers are delivering the kind of sound that you should be hearing. So there you have it, this $900 setup, $100, $100, $700. Unlikely combination, but it does sound glorious. Why does it sound glorious? 1, TruePlay, 2, Sub. On its own, this $200 that you spend, it'll be okay. You'll be able to hear some sound. You'll get all the features of the Sonos platform at your fingertips, all the streaming that you could ever want to. Removable grill, very functional pair of speakers. You can mount them on the wall as bookshelf. Great speakers, great investment for $200. But adding a $700 sub changes the whole game. So it is amusing that you are able to make the $200 pair of speakers sound so big, so convincing. Now this reminds me of the days when the Bose came out with their lifestyle system, and you have those cubes, those small satellites that you are placing around the room, and when you are listening and you're wondering, where is the bass coming from? Those things are so small. They have a huge sub tucked somewhere around the room. Those are the acoustic mesh, if I'm not mistaken. So those modules are the bass modules. This is the bass module of the Sonos ecosystem, the Sonos Sub Gen 2, Sub Gen 3. Okay, so this is coming to the close of today's video. And there was a video suggestion from a viewer, a very interesting one, might I add. So the viewer was asking if I could help to critique on some setup. So what I'm going to do is that I will pop up a QR code here. When you scan this QR code and click on the link, you will actually be prompted to send me an email. So my email address is there. What you can do is to send me pictures of your room, send me pictures of your setup, and ask me specific questions. I will help you out. I will walk through your pictures on an upcoming video. And if you want to share videos with me, do so as well. Make sure that the videos aren't too big, otherwise the email might not be able to take it. But when you do so, do remember, do bear in mind, I will be using your video, I will be using your pictures on my channel in a video on YouTube. So you've got to grant me the rights, and by sending it to me, I am assuming you're granting me the rights to use those videos. And I will walk through the setup, I'll critique on your setup, I will give specific advice on how you should be placing your Sonos speakers, or any other speakers for that matter, the things that you can be doing. If you could tell me a list of the equipment you're trying to set up, you could tell me the dimensions of your room, the setup, show me pictures of where your furniture is, where your walls are, and the height of the ceiling, the distance to the screen, all these kind of things. I can help you with that in the next video. If I do get some of the submissions, I may not be able to run through them all, but I will do my best to address anything that you guys send to me. So feel free to scan the code, send me your pictures, send me your videos, tell me a little bit more about your setup, tell me what you're trying to achieve, and let me help you out in a future video. So that's all for today, and I'll see you in my next video.